Hi, my name is McKenna Miller, and I'm very excited to be applying for the resource position in East Grand Rapids. I just graduated in December, which is so exciting, with a double major in special ed and LEd. And at Calvin, they do a really good job of really getting you out there and seeing a bunch of different schools and fields and things you might like. But my most two recent experiences were this past spring. I was at Pine Grove Learning Center in an SCI classroom with adults with SCI. And through that placement, I was able to learn so much about CI in general, and not just with adults, but with everyone, in how we can better help and advocate for people with disabilities. In the fall, I was at an elementary school in Forest Hills School District in a fourth grade. And so through that, I was able just to learn how I can be a better gen ed teacher, but also be a better gen ed teacher for my students who have different learning obstacles in the classroom in a gen ed setting. So that was also really cool to see. Right now, I work at West Godwin Elementary as a premier substitute. So, sounds really official, but that means I go every single day, and I kind of just go where they need me. So, at West Godwin, it's really cool because sometimes I'll be in a resource room, but sometimes I'll be in the ASD program, and sometimes I'll be in the ECSE program, and sometimes I'll be in the gen ed classrooms. And so, with that, I've learned different ways that I can adjust and be a better teacher and self-reflect on my own self, but also how I can teach different students to meet their needs as well. I chose special education for a variety of reasons, and honestly, it just brings a smile to my face to think about the fact that I get to be doing this for the rest of my life, and I think it is so cool. One of the main reasons why I chose to teach special education is because I truthfully have just always had a love for helping people and being a voice for people that society deems as different. So whether that be people with disabilities, whether that be people who have a different race than us, a different gender identity or sexual orientation, I think loving others is so important. And just treating people with respect is something that I think goes a really long way. And so for me, being that voice and that advocate for those people is just something that I find to be really cool. Another reason why I chose special education was because where I grew up, inclusion wasn't really a thing in my school, and so I hope to really change that for the future. I went to teach in East Grand Rapids Public Schools because of their strong emphasis in community. I think having community at the center of your classroom is so important for student success, but also for students to feel loved and welcomed. Personally, I am patient, I am willing to adjust, and I see change as a beautiful thing. Student teaching in a global pandemic really taught me that things are not always going to go as planned, and that's okay. There is always room for growth, and it showed me that there is always room for self-reflection, and as teachers, having that time to self-reflect and see what you can do better to meet your students' needs is always something that is going to be changing. And seeing different ways that we can do that and learn from other people and teachers as well is something that I hope to take with me for the rest of my days as a teacher. Thank you for this opportunity.